Today we are going to be reviewing a ton of Maybelline products. We have a lot to get through. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to jump right in with primers. So we have the Baby Skin Pore Eraser and the Master Prime Hydrate and Smooth Primer. So the Pore Eraser, I don't think that it's the best pore eraser primer that you can get at the drugstore. I think NYX has a better one.
I actually use the NYX every day, and I did try this. It's not as good as NYX, definitely, but I mean, it did okay for covering up pores, but I did put on a couple different layers, and so I think once I got the layers on there, I think it was workable.
The Hydrate and Smooth Primer, this one is actually really hydrating and really, like, it gives your skin almost like a luminous look.
It does.
Which is really, really nice.
Uh-huh.
I really like that some days, and this honestly, like, I think this actually does better than some, like, actual luminous primers, because it's just so hydrating, and it's just like water for your skin almost. So I really like this.
Yeah, I noticed that whenever I was using that this week, I was like, oh my gosh, is this a luminizing primer?
Yeah.
But it's really not. It's just hydrating, but it works to illuminize too. This is actually in my project pan. It is the Maybelline Fit Me Stick. It was sort of a dupe for the Hourglass. Wasn't quite the coverage, but it was a decent stick, and as you can tell, I mean, it's gone. But I mean, in a pinch, I would probably pick this up again because it was pretty good.
So I'll also have some of the Fit Me line as well. This is the Matte and Poreless and the Dewy and Smooth. So as you can see, they are two completely different shades, but they are both 110 porcelain, which makes no sense to me. We were kind of talking about this the other night. You would think that the same brand, having the same shade,
would be exactly the same.
Yeah, that it would be the same color, but it's not.
It
so
is
this
not.
one, the Dewy and Smooth, this is actually the lightest shade, and I can only use it whenever I am self-tanned.
Yeah.
But the Matte and Poreless one, it's actually like a perfect color for me whenever I'm not. So I wish that the shades were the same.
Yeah.
But they're just not.
It's very odd.
As for like the actual product, not the shade, the Matte and Poreless one I think has better coverage than the Dewy and Smooth. I think that this builds up to a full coverage. So it's kind of a medium to full. And I think that the Dewy is a medium almost to full. So if you're looking for full coverage, then definitely the Matte and Poreless one, but they are definitely both really good.
So next I'm talking about the Instant Age Rewind. This, I don't reach for this too much. The coverage is not real full, but it's also, it was the lightest shade, but it kind of has a pinky undertone, and so I have trouble using foundations that have a pink undertone, so I don't reach for this. It's a decent foundation. I'm gonna say it's not my favorite, but definitely, I mean, the bottle's nearly full because of the color that it is. So, you know, I
also remember that being a little sticky.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of sticky, and if you don't do a lot of like setting powder, things like that, it definitely feels kind of a little bit heavier on your skin.
Next is the Maybelline Dream Velvet Soft Matte Hydrating Foundation. This one is actually really good, and we actually tested this out to see if it was a dupe for the Fenty, which it was so-so on that, but it is a really good foundation. It's not as matte as the Fenty. That one almost like dries out your skin. Like if I use it every single day, then my skin does get really dry. But with this is almost like a your skin but better look. I don't know, it's really good, but
it feels really good going on. It feels, well, velvety. I mean, it's got that real smooth, silky finish. It's a pretty good coverage. It's not super full, but it's pretty good. But I wear a mask every day. I'm a hygienist, and so I found at the end of the day, basically the foundation was gone from my nose and my chin. So I will use this again, but not on days that I have to go to work, because it didn't last through all of the wear and tear that my face goes through.
So next is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation, and this really is a full coverage foundation.
Yes, it is. This is my new favorite. I think I actually like this better than my Hourglass.
Really?
I do, because sometimes my Hourglass, it's a stick, and so it tends to be a little bit drier. Also, like I wore my Hourglass when we went to an amusement park one day, and literally, I mean, the Hourglass doesn't hold up very well to sweating and being hot and stuff. It looked like I had milk dripping on my face. This holds up a whole lot better whenever it's hot and you're kind of, you know, get a little bit glowy and things. So I think this is actually my new favorite, and if this has not been around for very long, you can already see how much I've used. I will definitely be going and getting more. I love this foundation.
Yeah, I think that if you're looking for a full coverage foundation from the drugstore, that this is probably going to be your best option, because it really is full coverage.
Yes.
And I mean, you can get that full coverage glam with that.
Exactly. Next on our list is the Age Rewind Concealer. It's a decent concealer. This is actually my project pan, and I have trouble reaching for it because I have an all-time favorite, the Tarte Shape Tape. This is good. It's not a like full coverage concealer like my Shape Tape is, but before Shape Tape, this was my favorite. So if that says anything to you, then
yeah. Also, this is the lightest shade, and for me, it's actually a little too dark whenever I'm not self-tanned, so I can't reach for it unless I'm self-tanned, but it really is a good concealer.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Fit Me powder. This is actually kind of a pretty cool little compact. You open it up and you've got your powder, but then it opens up further and you've got your mirror and little powder puff. I don't ever use these, but you know, I use my powder brushes. But anyway, I mean, this is a decent pressed powder. I tend to go for loose powders, but this is a really good pressed powder. So, you know, it's great to have this in your purse. And if you're out and you need to kind of freshen up your powder or whatever, this is a great option.
I actually think, though, that Rimmel, their Stay Matte powder, is a little better. So if you are looking for a drugstore powder, then maybe go for the Rimmel instead, because I do think that that one is better. Next is the Maybelline Master Chrome Metallic Highlighters. I have two shades. This is the Molten Rose Gold and then the Molten Gold. So I have both of the Molten Gold ones. The Rose Gold is better for fairer skin. I feel like Rose Gold always is better for fairer skin. This one, I was actually kind of like annoyed with myself whenever I bought it, because I was like, it's not gonna work. I'm too fair for it. I'll have to wait until I'm self-tan to use it. But I actually ended up giving it a try, and if you go in like not really heavy-handed, then it's not gonna look too dark. It actually works out really perfect, and it's still really blinding. So if you are really fair and you are wanting to try this out, honestly, don't be scared, because it will work out for you.
Next, we're going to talk about brows. This is the Maybelline Brow Drama Shaping Chalk Powder. This one we tried out on another video, and we did not like this at all. It was super hard to use. It's super powdery, and the wand is just like a little spongy wand, and
yeah, it's a very interesting product. I don't really think that it's like easily used.
Yeah,
I think you really have to like manipulate it or use it in like certain ways to make it work for you. So I mean, I would really pass on that one. Next is the Brow Define and Fill Duo. This I have in the shade Auburn. I use the pencil side. I think the pencil side is really great. I mean, it's a fine tip. I don't know that it's the best one that you could find because you do really have to press, versus some that I own that are like higher end. You really just like slightly press and you get a lot of payoff. But it is a drugstore product, so it's cheaper and you can, I mean, press a little harder. I mean, it's not a big deal to me. I still do use it. But this side, I do not like. It's odd to me. I get like this is the fill side, so I guess like after you do it, or after you fill it in with the pencil, you would go in with that. And I just never really understood it. I've used it, and to me, it's just that extra step that I don't really need, so I just don't use it.
Next on our list to talk about are the City Mini palettes, and I think there might be one
that we don't have.
shade version that we don't have.
I think it was an exclusive to Ulta.
I'm not sure, but anyway, we've got 7 between us, and I have to say I have loved every one of these. Every one of them pretty well you can get a full look out of if you just have just the one palette. The pigment is there. They're blendable. They are a little bit powdery, so you do have a little bit of kickback. And so, you know, just make sure that you've either baked or you've got your powder brush ready to, you know, clean up that. But I mean, it's not terrible. But it is more than, say, you know, some of your high-end things. But these are drugstore. I mean, and for drugstore products, these have really good pigment. As a matter of fact, Shayla, the collab with Shayla, this was one of my favorites in our favorite video for April. So these are really good.
So next up for eyes is the Total Temptation Shadow and Highlight Palette. First off, the highlights are, they're not as good as the Master Chromes. So if you're wanting it just for the highlights, just get the Master Chromes. The shadows are not as good as the City Mini palettes. So I think if you're wanting it for the shadows, I think just go for a couple of the City Mini palettes because the quality of those is
much better
than this quality. Next is the Lasting Drama Light Liner in the shade White Luster. This is actually really good to kind of brighten up the eyes, put in your waterline for that. I wish that it was a little more skin tone versus white, but I mean, other than that, I can't really complain. It lasts, and it's really pretty.
All right, next we're going to talk about mascara. This is the Lash Sensational Curvitude, and I always liked this. I mean, I still use it, but it's almost out. The wand is small, it's thin, it's curved, so it's really, you know, easy to get into those lower lashes really good. So this has been my lower lash mascara, and like I said, it's almost out, so I'm probably gonna have to go out and get another one.
Next is the Total Temptation mascara. This actually, I want to like it, but it's such a wet formula that it just like makes a mess everywhere. I always have trouble like with it getting down here after I put mascara on my lower lashes. I always feel like I have to like stay still, like not move a muscle. Otherwise, if I move, it's gonna get down there, and it's a whole mess. And then you have to like, you know, clean it up, and it's not fun to deal with. But when you do have it on, it makes your lashes like so fluffy and long and voluminous. And if it wasn't such a wet formula, I think I would like say go out and get it. I mean, if you can deal with that, then it is a really good mascara. But if you are like me and you just don't have time to deal with that, you just don't want to, then I would say pass on it. Okay, so next is the Colossal Big Shot Volume Express Mascara. I actually really like this one, and I have like basically used it all up. So that's how I know when a mascara is good, is whenever I reach for it over and over and over until it's gone. So I need to go repurchase, but I mean, I really love this. It gives volume. I mean, it gives really good length. So, I mean, this is a really good one.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Superstay Matte Ink. These were, to us, we did not like them.
Yeah.
They were super sticky, they were super heavy. You definitely could feel that they were on your lips from the very beginning, and they were just, they were awful.
Yeah, they're not very good. They feel like you have like a layer of like glue or something on your lips.
Yeah.
And it's not a comfortable lipstick to wear. So.
It's not.
Next is the Python Metallic Lip Kits. These are super fun to play with. We actually did a video on them, so we will have that linked. They're fun to play with. I think that I ended up with some really good colors. With this one, I noticed that you really had to build and build and build since it is such a dark color, and so it does take a lot of time. So it's not really the most convenient thing, but this shade is so pretty, like on its own, and then you have that like shimmer added to it. It's so stunning. I love this one.
These actually were a pleasant surprise for me because I was like, I mean, based on the way the packaging looks and stuff, some of the shades are like kind of out there, and so I was thinking, I'm not sure about this, but it actually surprised me. I really did like them. I really did like the shades after I got them on. They look different based on the under shade, and then once you put the powder cover over it, it looks a lot different. So, I mean, you can play and get some different looks.
Next is the Vivid Matte Liquid Lip Color, and I have to say this was actually one of my first matte lipsticks, and I still love it to this day. It is not like a complete dry down matte,
no,
but it is super comfortable, and I mean it obviously there's like transfer because it doesn't dry down completely, but I think that I really like that like comfortableness of it.
It's kind of velvety.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will say is that I'm not quite a fan of is the applicator is a little bit long, and so it makes it to where you have to be more careful to be more precise when putting it on, but I love the way it feels. I love the way it wears. So I also have, as if you can't tell, we love lip stuff. The Superstay 24 color. I've got 2 shades, and this one actually is completely out. Like, there's nothing left in there anymore. I already have repurchased, so I will be getting that one out. But these are my favorite because, like I said, I wear a mask. This I literally can put on. They don't look super dry, super matte because of the overcoat that you put on it, and it does not move. I mean, it stays put with my mask on, everything. These are my 2 favorite colors. This one is Won't Move Mauve, and this one is All Day Plum, and these are my 2 favorite colors in these, my favorite lippies.
And for when you need to remove those, because they do last like all day, they have the Superstay Eraser, which works really, really good. It works with not only just the Superstays, but it works with regular liquid lips that sometimes you can have trouble getting off. So this just makes it a lot easier. You just kind of like put it on like a lipstick and kind of just rub your lips together, take a tissue or anything, and wipe it off, and it's gone. It's gone.
All right, guys, that is it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and make sure to click that notification bell so that you're notified each and every time that we upload.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are at Glam and Glamour on all of them. And until our next video,
Bye.
bye.